What's happening, boys? How are we all?
Getting there.
Not too bad, mate.
Not really enjoying this weekend, but it's all right.
Everybody just needs to breathe, relax, chill it. We're fine. This is what's going to happen. It's our turn. We've been laughing for the last 2 weekends at Celtic and Rangers taking points off each other and beating themselves up. It's just our turn. Everybody needs to chill the fuck out. But aye. We'll come to that.
What's happened to you? What's happened to you? You all right? What's changed in your life that you're like this?
Well, let's be watching someone about deep fakes. I'm sure that it's a deep fake.
Well, let's stay context, right? It's been 66 years since Hearts won a title. It's been 40 years since anybody outside Celtic and Rangers won a title. In our lifetime, we revere George Burley's team that went on for 13 games. Season was finished before the end of January. We love Jim Jeffries, who went pretty deep in a season, but was always chasing, was never really top of the league or within it. We're 8 games away from winning a title, and if we win every single game, we win the title. And the reaction to Saturday has been nothing short of hysterical, ridiculous. Even at the game on Saturday was mental. But now it's about taking it on the chin, puffing your chest out and moving to Saturday, where we need to be right behind the team, because even any slight nervousness and it'll be a horrible place to be on Saturday. So we were shy on Saturday. 100% didn't deserve to win the game, which is disappointing. We all know that. But the reaction to some of it has been, by our own fans as well, has been absolutely mental. You'd think that we'd won title after title, treble after treble, cup after cup. What was it? Alec McDonald was the manager in 86, wasn't he, Kev? Sorry, Tam, I'll skip. No.
Thanks.
I'm pretty sure I remember reading and seeing in the paper and the Pink and them reading and using it. I think the players after Dens went back to the Balmoral. That's the one at Waverley, innit? That's the hotel at Waverley. I'm pretty sure there was thousands upon thousands of Hearts fans on Princess Street, and they carried the players off the team bus and into the Balmoral like heroes for losing the league on the last game of the season. And on this way it's gone right now, we'll boo the team off if they didn't win the title, which is absolutely insane. So we need some perspective. We need to calm down. And I've been saying it for ages, and I told this period, I can't remember who the guy was that was talking to in the Gorgie suite, so I'll apologise for it. I keep saying the word atmosphere. I don't just mean the atmosphere in the stands and singing and all that stuff. I mean the general vibe of being around this team. This team is 8 games away from a title, and I still don't think people like the manager. I still don't think people like some of the players. It's insane. This could be the most iconic Hearts team that we ever have, and yet I don't know if anybody likes barely any of the players other than Devlin, Shankland and Halkett. It's insane. We all know Mikael Pospisil played about 21 games for Hearts. Everybody kens who he is, loves him. Julian Brelli was a season and a bit at Hearts. Bruno Agua, a few seasons. Ibrahim Tall, all these players. We all remember all these players, and they achieved nothing like what this team could achieve. So it's weird. It's weird. And Saturday was disappointing, but to boo them off at half time and then to stand at the full time whistle and boo them off. Kev, you'd have been there in 96 at Hampden, beat 5-1 off Rangers. The Tannoy boys playing Come On Feel the Noise, because at half time and at full time we were singing in defiance. We sang for 90 minutes watching our team get beat 5-1 in a National Cup final. What's happened to that spirit, that mentality of being Hearts fans, where you sing, get behind the team? We lost to Stuttgart. I remember Tynecastle being absolutely bouncing because we almost pulled off an absolute miracle. I know what it was like at Anfield. I know what it was like at White Hart Lane when we were 5-0 down for the first leg, but celebrated a 0-0 draw like we'd won the Champions League. What's happened to us? Where's the defiance? Where's the heart of Midlothian? Fuck off Hibernian. Where's the singing? Where's the G'ing up the team? Where's all that sort of stuff? It's insane. You'd think that we were relegated after the game on Saturday.
I think you'll find that there's a lot of fans just expectations. Have been dealt blows season after season after season, but you can't have that rationale. You can't have that idea that that's going to be the way of everything. You've got to break that narrative at some point, and that narrative should be broken this season. You've said it before. We've all said it. Guys in the pubs before games have said it. You know, we have sat top of the league since August. Since August. Just let that settle in to those fans who, as you rightly say, don't think that, you know, ex-player, whoever it might be, a McCart, a Halkett, even, you know, Spittle, Magnuson, these particular players don't, deserve it. What are you talking about? Genuinely, what are they talking about? They've sat top of the league since August. You know, if you go back and you think about it, there's only some certain teams that have actually gone a full season unbeaten, right? At home, right?
Yep.
That's us. That could be us. We're going to have potentially, 4 games at home? Between
4 home games left.
4. I'll buy a beer to anybody that can tell me the last time Hearts went a full season of getting through the whole season unbeaten at home. Because I genuinely can't remember in my lifetime.
Well, we've never even done it in the Championship.
Give me 2 minutes, Kev.
Never even done it in the Championship, Kev. Playing against my grass cutter and fucking the dog and duck shite. We never even managed it in the Championship. Again, that team under Robbie Nielsen winning the Diddy Cup is revered. We all love that team, and they righted a wrong that should never have happened to our football club. Now we'll come into it. I'm not excusing Saturday. Saturday was miles below where we are, but the team's done enough to deserve some credit for being 8 games left in the season. We played 20. Well, we must be getting close to nearly 30 games we've played. Have we played 30 games? Is it bang on 30? Must be, in it. There's 8 games left.
Yeah, 30 games.
Right.
30 games.
30 games. And we've lost 5 games. Insane. Absolutely insane. And the thing that should be positive, if you can take a positive out of a negative, is we can be miles better than we were on Saturday. Miles better. You know what I mean? We were terrible on Saturday, all over the park. From the very first minute of the game, the very first sequence of the game, we made an absolute Ricky Hunt to kick off. Passed the ball straight to Kilmarnock for kick off and put ourselves on the back foot immediately from our centre and never recovered from it. And that's what the positive are. We can't be any worse than we were on Saturday. So if you played brilliant and get beat, fair enough. I'd be really worried. But we were massively disappointing. And that's at least a positive. As you think, well, we'll not be that bad. Again, we can't be.
I think it's a record against the teams coming up, minus this weekend, but all the top 6 teams is good. It's the best in the league in terms of points taken, and going into the split, we should take confidence in that as well.
I do think you're at a point now where it doesn't matter. Right? It doesn't matter how we play. It's about getting results, and that means that we got to get behind the team as much as we possibly can. Do you know what I mean? We've got to. Celtic never got booed off at Ibrox at 0-0, having had no shot on target and been absolutely battered. They didn't get booed off at the end of 120 minutes when it was got to penalties and had no shots on target. It's just one of those things where you have to forget almost what you're watching in front of you and G up the players that are there. Get behind it. I think I counted 4 times because I was row 7 behind the goal to the right hand side, closest to the main stand. I think I counted 4 times. Swallow turned round and shouted at the fans to start singing, get behind the team. It's insane. 9 games away, your team's 1-0 down, you win, you keep a 5-point gap, and your goalkeeper's having to beg the fans to sing, get behind the team. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was absolutely mental. I think Kent and Cabangu don't even know what happened, but somebody chucked a pie like onto, like, down where they were like warming up and all that. And I'm like, what are we doing here? When did we turn into Celtic and Rangers fans? As if we'd won everything for ages. The entitlement was it. You can be disappointed. I'm not going to tell you not to be disappointed. I'm still absolutely fuming about it now, about the performance. But the reaction is exactly what Derek McInnes has been spoke about. And what's really disappointing is we knew that you're going to get all the guys from Chris Sutton coming out and saying that Derek McInnes' actions after Aberdeen are going to derail the title race, all that sort of stuff. All these people, all these empty vessels were always waiting to come out, and we're waiting for exactly what's happened now, waiting for Celtic and Rangers to be in striking distance, and now they're all coming back to the bubbles burst. They're not going to do it. They're not got the mentality, blah, blah. But to see our Rain fans revelling in the fact that we've lost is insane to me. Like, it's absolutely insane. And it's, I don't know if it comes from the Romanoff era, Kev. I don't know if it's that fan that was that age that has been spoiled for what like, I keep going back to it, and I'm not diminishing what that team did, because they won as a Scottish Cup and we absolutely loved it, and it was a brilliant season. We split the Old Firm, but the title challenge of that team finished about what? When did Celtic beat us? Was it Boxing Day? Beat us at Tynecastle. We were 2-0 up and got beat 3-2, or was it New Year's Day?
No, it was. Well, I think it was actually like the 27th. I think it was Boxing Day. But can I just say, evening everybody. Hope you're all good.
Mate, I know. I've been waiting to get it off my chest for ages.
It's fine, mate. It's fine, because you're not going to be the only one, right? There's going to be a lot of folk that are listening in the night and on YouTube, and thanks to them for joining, that want to do exactly the same thing. So, and they'll, no doubt, Tam, they'll sort of put messages on YouTube and everything else. Tam will ignore them, and then he'll come to 2 or 3 of them at the end. Well,
he's right that you put a few up, which is good, but for the audio,
here's a good one for Christopher Macbeth as well. Corbett's hair has gotten more grey as the seasons went on.
Mate,
makes a difference. Mine is falling out as it goes on, so it's fine. At least you've got a good heady helmet.
But anyway, hi Tam, how are you?
I'm all right, man. All good.
Kevin, you all right?
Aye, yeah. But back to the point you make. You made a really good point about it all. You knew perfectly well, as you rightly say. Chris Boyd's supported more teams in this league campaign than he's actually played for in his professional career. So, for that point of view, you knew perfectly well it was always going to be the same. Sutton's exactly they're all going to do exactly that for, and we've said it before, because if we want to win the league, that kills their particular career. Who's going to want Charlie Mulgrew on Premier Sports when actually that Celtic aren't play? So they've got to look after themselves, and that's what they'll do, and they'll do everything they can to make sure that they still get their their ticket in whatever stadium it might be through the West. We've just got to stick together. We've got to get behind the team. You're right. We've got a responsibility as fans, the supporters of this football club, to do everything that we can to get them across the line. Because let's be honest, we've not had a good party for a while. We need a party. Let's be honest. Probably about August.
There was, and I know we broke the duck in '98. There was a fanzine called Always the Bridesmaid, and I'm not celebrating that we should celebrate failure and all that stuff, because that's why I can't stand the national team. I hate all that stuff. I can't stand the glorious failure stuff and just go for a party. But this team has done something that none of us ever thought we would ever see in our lifetime, and we're 8 games away from it. We're 8 games away from that exact thing. And the other thing I was thinking about today is, I keep talking about context. My whole life, turned 40 last year, so I'll be 41 this year, the exact same time that no one's won the league title. Maybe it's biased, maybe it's maroon glasses or whatever. I can't think of a single other club outside of us that's genuinely spoke openly and consistently about wanting to be better than just being third. It constantly says they want to win titles, that they want to win trophies, they want to challenge Celtic Rangers. Everybody else is happy to sit in line and be just comfortable being best of the rest. And now we've got an actual side that could actually deliver that. We've got an owner, an investor that wants that is backed by a recruitment agency that has delivered that all over the place. If you can't get excited about now, and that defiance of being a Hearts fan, that's what I grew up remembering, being at games where I knew we weren't going to win, but we got right behind the team the whole time, or and I don't know if it's the glorious failure stuff or whatever it is, but just the entitlement where we're like, I don't know, I've said for ages, I've felt we're waiting to be caught. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're just so uncomfortable being top that the manager's talking bullish, the players are talking bullish. No one else, I think, really believes it. Do you know what I mean? The team, the club have done nothing really to back making a difference. They're only really started to jump on the bandwagon about let's make some noise, let's make Tynecastle intimidating, etc., because the manager's been banging on about it. And I don't know what to go back to, Leicester, and I'm not saying I wanted this because I hated it at the time, but everybody will remember when Leicester were on that running, those fucking stupid paper fan things. Remember, they were clapping with them, but they had a tifo for every home game, or the club was giving out scarves to every single fan. They were doing something that Pavarotti or whoever the fuck it was singing Italian songs because their manager was Italian or whatever. And we just seem to have this mentality where
just be happy to be there in a way.
The place will be bouncing. See if we go into that Motherwell game and we're 3 points behind Celtic, the place will be bouncing because we'll feel happy that we didn't have to deal with the pressure anymore. And then we're all comfortable knowing that, well, we tried, but now we can chase Celtic. Whereas actually, if we keep them at arm's length and do what we're doing and keep the gap that we have, we'll win the title. Just like an uncomfortable air about us where no one seems comfortable being top of the league. And I think you've seen that on Saturday.
Do you think in that case, do you think there's maybe an element of the fact that we've just won games 1-0? See if we go in on Saturday and we beat Dundee on Saturday 4-0. Do you think that changes people's mentality in the stands?
But what are they wanting to see? We're playing.
I know what you mean, but I just wonder if people have got that, we're only scraping by wins.
Well, the thing is, when was the last time we scraped by? When you say scraped by a win, I think of the Livy game. Because we never scraped by versus Falkirk and we never scraped by Aberdeen. Do you know what I mean? These are different things. In the Hibs game, was no scrape by. There was a snatch and grab, which is what derbies are all about. That can happen in any derby. But I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But you can play fast, free-flowing, attacking football in August. Now is about winning football matches. And the thing that was really disappointing about Saturday is we got Derek McInnes by Neil McCann and we didn't seem to have an answer for it. They didn't beat us because they were playing scintillating football and they were unbelievable. They beat us because they wanted it more. And they were more aggressive. They were to first to every second ball. They won knockdowns, they won their individual battles, they did the hard yards, they done the running, the dirty stuff, and then they get a 1-0 lead and we completely and utterly forget that if you touch them, they're going to go down and they're going to have cramp and they're going to make a sub and then 3 minutes later they're going to make another sub and then they're going to take ages to bring the ball. And nobody understood that every single time the ball went into the stand, they threw another ball into the pitch. Every single time. The people at the game will know exactly what I'm talking about. And I was like, be sensible with it. Wait for them to throw the ball back and just say take the thing for the ref, being like, mate, every single time we get a bit of an attack going, they throw another ball on the pitch. Just wait. Again, 6 minutes injury time at the end when there was, I know it was in the first half and that as well, but Magnuson was out for at least five minutes getting treatment. We got 4 minutes added on. We were just poor on Saturday, but the atmosphere before the game, in the ground, all that stuff, just everybody's too nervous. And I get it, I understand that it's terrifying because we've never been in this position before. But to get the team over the line, the team have never been in this position before. We have to understand the role that we play. We have to understand that being nervous and being anxious and getting on people's back and that. In the first half, Kabori jumped over the barrier things to get the ball to take a corner. You get Doug's abuse. And it's like, what are you doing, man? What do you think he's going to do? Like, Jenky's buzzing to know that folk are being like, fucking get your finger out, man. Change your fucking boots. And it's like, God, all right, lads, like, give him a chance. So, again, we're all disappointed. We'll talk about the performance in a second or whatever, but I think people need to take a step back and remember the context of what we're doing and where we are. It's fucking March. The season's finished in like fucking 6 weeks. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's insane. And if we win on Saturday, I think we'll be top of the league come the end of March as well, won't we? I think, do we have a game on the 31st of March or something?
Nah, it's international.
It got moved, didn't it? It got moved. Aye. So they're like, win on Saturday, we're top of the league in March. So we've been top of the league in August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. There's literally a month and a bit left of the season. Now's the time to know what we're here. If you're going to watch fancy partners to play expansive football, etc., that's not what this is now. It's not what this is. Look at Arsenal, the most dullest team on planet Earth to watch, but they're going to win the league because they're doing the basics right and they're winning the games. If you're going and expecting us suddenly to just click into gear and become prime time George Burley winning 5-6-0 on Saturday, don't go. It's not going to happen, mate. It's not going to happen. It's going to be 1-0, 2-0, absolute tops, if that. And we're going to have to get right behind the team because it's going to get nervous the longer it goes. At 1-0, I think Rangers will be at home that day as well. They'll probably be the same kick-off time as us because it'll be Celtic that will be away from home. I think Celtic are at Dundee or something on this Sunday.
We've actually got a later kick-off, 5:45.
Who, Rangers?
Aberdeen.
So we've got a huge part to play. We've got a huge part to play. So really, actually, and that brings me on to a thing, Taze, that we will probably start advertising that we're going to welcome the team to Tynecastle on Saturday. I think you get an opportunity to make a difference. The players were at, Braga, if anybody's seen the videos or whatever, we obviously waited for the players to show up, set fireworks off, pyro off, etc. for Braga going into the game against Aberdeen on Saturday. The players arrive at Tynecastle at 1 o'clock on Saturday. We've been talking about it for ages and ages, about lining the street, Wheatfield Street, Wheatfield Place, whatever one it is, with fans and welcome the players to Tynecastle. So I think that's something that we should definitely do on Saturday, G'd the players up. So we'll probably start advertising and telling people to be at outside Gerrard Yard, which is the players' entrance on Wheatfield Street, Wheatfield Place, Saturday, like 1:45, 1 o'clock on Saturday. And day our part to try and welcome the team, Tynecastle, G them up, do anything to let them know that we're with them and that we fully understand the part that we have to play and get behind them. So keep an eye out for that. I'll let you know. We'll post it on social medias and stuff exactly what the script is and who's going to be involved and where to be and all that sort of stuff. But Saturday is huge.
It is massive. Dundee, as a team, actually are playing half decent football. They got 2 late goals on Saturday night themselves. Sunday. The
guy gave away the free kick and then ran into the box and headed it into his own net here. That's what nightmare. It was unbelievable header.
That's the type of guy you should be shouting at.
Exactly.
Insane. But listen, I've said it before. You can't beat St Mirren away and Kelly away, and you can't beat Dundee at home. Let's be honest, you're not going to win a title, right? So we have to. Yeah, Dundee are a good team, but every team we play now is going to have something to play for. So it's about us, and we'll talk about that in a wee second when we talk about the game, because it's the first time for a while on Saturday that I was frustrated with the manager, and hope that the manager has to now just change his approach, because if you lose 3-2 on Saturday, but it's because you've went hell for leather going for it, then it's different to losing 1-0 where we never looked like scoring in those last 10 minutes. How we managed the game was absolutely pathetic. It was insane. We couldn't even get out our own half, couldn't get on the ball. And again, we just made the same mistake on repeat. We were naive. And I think that the manager has to have a wee change of mentality with the players. I went to that Derek McInnes night and I understood exactly what he was talking about when he answered the question on Altena. I got it. I understood it. That doesn't matter now, because what we gain from Michael Steinvender being better defensively, we lose offensively, because Kizarides is completely null and void in a game when he has nobody that can back him up on that side, because Steinwender will not go past a man, will not put the ball into the box. And when Altena came on, he was miles head and shoulders above everybody that had played for the game. Take a man on, wants to get wide, all that stuff. We can't now. Who cares if he's no defensively good enough? We need him attacking, no defending.
You say defensively good enough as well. Oh, sorry, Kev.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, that's a really good point in regards to Steinvender. Maybe when you're playing against a Celtic or a Rangers, you know, you want to be defensively minded. You want to maybe be a little bit more aligned and no conceding goals. But when you go and play against a Kilmarnock or a Dundee or a Livy, as we will be doing over the next few weeks, those are the games that you'd be wanting your offensive players to actually be involved. You know, we've seen it in Altena's first game. The cross he put in for the goal was, you know, we hadn't seen that for God knows how many seasons. So
to be honest as well, like Finlay Curtis had him on toast the whole game as well. So you talk about defensively sound, and you're like, well,
here's a question for you, right?
You know what I mean?
Here's a question for you, right? When Rangers come to Tynecastle, will they drop Romans because he's not defensively good? Would Celtic drop Arejo because he's not defensively sound? We need to stop worrying about that and make teams worry about us, because Michael Steinvender is an okay centre-half being asked to play right back, and he looks uncomfortable all the time. It's not his natural position. It's not. I don't think we get the best out of Kizarides either when he plays in front. He's another player that has so dramatically and drastically fallen off in terms of needing Shankland and needing maybe even a rest. But he definitely needs to be playing on the other side of the pitch, because he's no good on the right-hand side. He just doesn't have the link-up play that he has with Milne on the other side. So I think we're at a point now where we need to start making teams worry about us offensively rather than worrying about teams defensively. Let's not forget that Kilmarnock get scudded 5-1 of Falkirk. Falkirk got the ball down and played football and absolutely battered them. So we shouldn't have been scared to put our foot on the ball and pass it about and put them in areas of the park that they didn't want to be. But we didn't. And we played right into their hands, fell into their traps. They were overrunning us in the midfield, winning every second ball. The formation, we played like a bit like a 4-1-4-1 type thing. I know they were saying it was a 4-1-3-2 or whatever there was, but Kabori was playing up front by himself with Braga one side wide and Kizzy the other side with Spittle and Magnuson in behind, and Leonard sitting in front of the defence. There was a point in the second half, like I said, I was like behind the goal, 7 rows, and Halkett got the ball for the keeper because we beat their press, but they stopped even pressing. Really, at the end of the game, they just the subs they made, they were like five at the back, 5 in midfield, and nobody up front. But Halkett got the ball and actually broke lines and drove forward. And I swear I could see right to the goalkeeper. There was not a single Hearts player in the middle of the pitch. We had 3 people on the right, 3 people on the left, and nobody in the middle of the pitch to pass to. And I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It just got chaotic and mental at the end. And I know the manager kind of talked about that chaos ball type stuff, but it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a wee second. What is there any news, Kev? Is there anything worth talking about that isn't just what you just spoke about?
No, everything that's been in the press over the last 3 days that I had a look at has all been around the fact of how the bubbles burst, how this has happened, that's happened, and everything else. The elements of news are all about the poor display from the club on or from the team on Saturday night.
Should have some exciting, well, not exciting, but good injury news this weekend, though, right?
Well, it is that. I mean, that's that. If you're looking for a bit of positive news since we last podied, then the return of 4 key players, or 2 key players and 2 others, is definitely big news. Of course, McAtee came back on Saturday night for Magnusson, who I believe has got a fractured cheekbone. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that was a proper saying. Like, he got an absolute dull one, and I actually thought we were worse in the game when he went off. I thought that he's the only one from midfield that can shoot. He should have done better with the chance that he had.
Yeah, probably should have passed in a sense, but
yeah, he had better options than what he did. But I felt that we get worse in the middle of the park when Magnusson went off. I actually was terrified that he was going to get sent off, because from my angle it looked like it kind of went with his arm or whatever, but then you see it and it's obviously just an absolute dullion head collision type thing. So he'll be out for a while, I'd imagine.
Well, unless he plays one of those
masks.
One of those masks I think he can wear. It just depends on the actual location of the potential fracture. So from that point of view, we just need to wait and see, because there's nothing being mentioned about that in any of the news.
But those masks are for broken noses and broken cheekbones and all that, and not for broken jaws. You won't play.
See, that's what's not been confirmed. I don't believe it's been confirmed as a jaw, is it?
I can tell you it was his jaw. He was swinging off. I could see it. I could see it. Like, it looked like he properly held himself. And I watched him walk off the pitch. I know why he liked to do it or whatever, and he probably said that he wanted to walk off. He should have got a stretcher off. When he walked off the pitch, he was like, oh, I don't think he had any idea where he was. He was pure stumbling to the touch, and it was actually uncomfortable to watch. I get it. I don't know why players do it or whatever, but I would have preferred to have seen him just stay down and get a stretcher, because he looked proper. He looked proper gubbed. Like,
who's the other non-key player? Sorry, Kev. That you said
it'll be McEntee and Kingsley, innit?
Oh, Kingsley.
Yeah. Right. Kingsley's supposed to be back in training this week. He'll be back running anyway and involved with the first team. But they do believe that potentially the Livy game is the opportunity for him to get back in. I personally don't think he'll come back in at Livy. Yes, he may be on the bench. He may be involved in that 16. But yeah, that was the 4 players: McEntee and Kingsley, and of course Devlin, and more importantly Shankland.
He's been the one. I think his injury's flown under the radar. I won't lie to you. I know Shankland and Devlin get the big hype, but actually having the versatility to play Kingsley at left back
on the left and Milne on the right.
Milne on the right is severely hindered us, because I actually thought it was Harry Milne's worst game on Saturday. He was, I don't know, he's like the insider knowledge, and then the background is he's held together with gaffer tape and blue tack. He is gubbed. He's proper injured, but he's been taking painkilling injections for about 6 weeks just to play.
Catches up with that as well, though.
Aye, and I think that on Saturday you seen that he looked absolutely gubbed on Saturday, and that inability to be able to move. We need athleticism on the wide areas for right and left back. We need that. That's why we looked so good against Aberdeen, because of the way we played. We played Milne one side, Kizzy on the other. We played with the wing backs in it, and it really stretches the game and causes them problems. Finlay Curtis was really, really good going forward, but I guarantee you, if we did a job offensively, he would have been null and void, because he wouldn't have been able to cope with where we were. But because Kizzy's out there by himself and Steinvender isn't going to go past him, they just double up on him. 2-on-1 every single time, easy as anything. And then you're asking Braga, who drifts out to that left-hand side, and again, it's not where you want Braga, and all the chances that Braga had sort of came from him nicking the ball off someone out in that wider area, or winning the knockdown on that wider area and then cutting in or driving in from there. So the Kingsley one has really impacted us. It genuinely does hinder what we can do. So the quicker we can get Kingsley back, yeah, absolutely better. And I don't care if Dell, I know your boys and that listen to podcasts. If you're listening, if Shankland's only fit for 25 minutes, start him. Take him off after 25 minutes, man. Honestly, we can't have Kabore can only play at home games, but he needs boots, man. He needs boots. It was insane how little he stayed on his feet. He did it at Tannadice too, and he obviously did it. He done it at Tynecastle as well, where I don't know what it is. He just can't stay on his feet.
Like, I don't know what the Estonian League is like, but I assume it's similar pitches to what we played the game on Saturday in terms of all weather ones. You'd think he'd be used to it.
Do you want to know a controversial opinion, Kev?
Oh, go for it.
I think we would have been more in the game if he'd kept Kabore on. The Chesney-Kabore sub was absolutely rotten. I understand why they did it, but this is what's weird, and people at the game will agree with what I'm saying, right? I watched Chesney, I don't know, is it Peanut or whatever the coach guy is that was out with Chesney. Chesney went in, listened to team talking, and came out, and the whole time it was one-on-one. He kept showing him to how to take the ball, and then obviously telling him that contact will come second touch. So push them, lean in there, and then get down. They kept doing that movement, like touch, lean, and go, which is take your touch and then stay as wide as you possibly can. Lectured them for the 10 minutes or whatever he was there. Played them wide right as the game kicked off, and then maybe 6 minutes later, brought Altena on and took Steinvender off. Put McEntee to right back, put Altena as right wing, moved Chesney inside, and then Chesney just went. Then we moved and brought other people on, and at one point Chesney was on the left, and then he was in the middle, and then Altena played in the centre of the park, and I was like, what on earth are we doing here? Chesney hasn't got a clue where he's supposed to be and what he's doing, and he did absolutely nothing. Kabore was infuriating in the first half because he actually held the ball up, could win a header, and looked like he was potentially going to do something, and then fell. Whereas Chesney did absolutely nothing. I think that I understand why they made that substitution, because Kabore was rotten, but that was I thought that was a shock.
I guess if you're going to make the change as well, surely you play him out wide where there was a lack of width on that side. Like,
there is that thought in doing that, but also when it's not I don't see Kabore and Chesney as being the same player. I think there's an element that you also need to change the way in which you're actually playing the game. We spoke about this before, Corbett, you and I. If you think back to that United game back at the end of January, we used the width, we got to the byline, we pulled the ball back, Kabore scored.
Yep.
Saturday night, we weren't doing that. Saturday night, it was pinging that ball up to him, asking him to hold it up. Let's and then everybody, as you've mentioned there just now, everybody then got on the guy's back, right? But if you're not going to, if you've got a particular player who performs better playing a particular way, play that way. It's no rocket science. And to bring Chesney on, and I know, and bring Chesney on in the second half and not change the way in which you want to play the game, play to the people's strengths. That's the way it is.
But again, it comes down to the lack of width and options, because we won't go down that side of the pitch. So we always go down the left-hand side of the pitch. So if you stop Milne being able to overlap, if you stop Kizarides being able to get to the byline when it was or whatever in the second half, it's easy for them because it's so glaringly obvious that we won't go down the right-hand side. So Chesney's just over there doing absolutely nothing. Braga's in the middle. I'd actually, like you said there, Kev, Chesnikov, all the highlights that you've seen of him, he looks like he's a much, much better player playing through the middle. So, I even think, bring Elton on for Kabore. And then instead of asking him to win headers and hold the ball up, hit it into a channel and get Elton to run on it because he's rapid. Do you know what I mean? They something like that. Or even, stupid things. If we wanted to play chaos ball and we wanted to go direct and we wanted to get long and win knockdowns and second balls and that, put Halkett up there. Bring Kent on, put Halkett up there, and we'll get him a win. He scores goals. He's been a striker before. He knows what he's doing. But like you said, Kev, to swap and then to continue to try to play the way we were playing, it was a mess. It was a mess. The second half was one of the ones that was the first time, really, where I was like, we don't really know what we're doing here. we're just chucking anything at it. We're panicking and chucking anything and everything at it to just try and hope that something happens. We had plenty of opportunities, loads of set plays, loads of opportunities to get the ball into the box, but just the lack of quality all over the park on Saturday was so glaringly obvious to see.
And I don't think, if you looked at the team, I know we usually talk about it, but you looked at the team at the start of the game or when it was chosen, it came out an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff. You looked at it and you went, aye, that's fine.
Wouldn't they have changed it after the Aberdeen game, to be honest?
Yeah, of course. And you maybe go as far to say that, as I mentioned earlier on about Steinwender, when you're playing against teams that you want to get the win and you're putting the pressure on them, you mentioned it, Cobb, but they got, Kilmarnock got spanked 5-1 from Kilmarnock, from Falkirk a week before or 2 weeks before, should I say. From that point of view, you want to be on the front foot. Play your front foot. You play your guys who want to go forward with the ball. I mean,
I just think that
what's the best form of defense? Offense.
Like it's either I wasn't shocked at the starting 11. I thought the starting 11 was fine, but it was when we lined up and it was like, well, we're not playing the same shape as it we played against Aberdeen. We played 4-1-4-1. Looked, we just think that it never suited us. Leonard was too deep, couldn't get on the ball. You're asking Spittle, Magnuson to get up and create chances in the final third, and you're asking Braga and Kizzy to play wide. Whereas actually, if you'd played Braga and Kabore together as a two, Milne and Kizzy as wing backs, I think you get a much, much better balance to the team. Steinwender, McCart, and Halkett as your back three. Leonard and Magnuson can sit, and Spittle can play. Spittle can play a wee bit further forward, like he did against Aberdeen as well. And I just thought that we did it against. We said when we played St Mirren, I was like, if we change anything, what I don't want to see is us to make changes because we're worried about the height and the aggressiveness of St Mirren. And that's what we did. We took Altena didn't play, Steinwender played, and we worried too much about the fact that they were going to be aggressive and big, and we never thought about imposing ourselves in the game. And that's not to say that we didn't think about that. Obviously, we think about doing all that sort of stuff, but we never executed it. And again, I think that was what we seen on Saturday. And now that has to get blown out of the water. The blueprint has to be get our best players playing in their best position in the best way that we can get the best out of them. And if we lose, we lose. Every Hearts fan that was in that stand on Saturday would have preferred to see us lose because we tried to be expansive and we get caught a couple of times on the break or whatever, rather than continue at points on Saturday. It was Critchley ball. It was Robbie Nielsen ball. Jamie McCart and Craig Halkett seen the ball more than anybody on the pitch. And it's the thing I hate about playing on those parks. If any of you, I don't know, do you ever watch a bunch of amateurs on YouTube? That Mark White guy.
Yeah.
Like, watch Dorking. They've got a plastic pitch. Watch the camera angles that they use, which is like ground level, showing. Watch how much the ball bounces. It's insane how the ball moves about on those pitches. So I get it. All game on Saturday, it felt like we took the safe backwards pass because we didn't want to try and take a touch. We didn't want to try and turn on the half turn and move forward. So like you'd bounce the ball into a Leonard or a Magnuson, they'd immediately bounce it back to Halkett. And then Halkett would bounce it out to Milne, and Milne would bounce it back to Halkett, and Halkett would shift it over to McCart, and McCart would shift it over to Steinwender, and Steinwender would hit it back to McCart because nobody wanted to try and take a touch of that ball, which is why I was thinking there was going to be a sub at half time. Put Elton on and launch it over their heads and make them
defend.
Chase the ball down, because that's what we really struggled with. So, aye, it was pretty poor. It was pretty poor all over.
Got a question for you. I know we're struggling with a. Oh, sorry, your internet went a bit weird.
Okay.
Obviously, Kurjata came on towards the end there, and again he was first thought was delivering to the ball.
Yep.
Do you reckon it's time he gets a chance when we're needing somebody on the right hand side anyway?
Yeah, I know. I've just said at the start time to get behind the players and all that stuff, and I get it. Kabore was not good on Saturday. I'm hoping that everybody knows that and understands that he wasn't good enough, and it was probably below where he wanted to be. But Chesney has done nothing to deserve a start, in my opinion, or to be coming on. I know he scores against Falkirk, but it's really all that he's contributed. Karjota has set up, has got assists, and every single time he comes on, looks proper lively. The cut inside and put the ball into the back post in the second half. I think 2 of our best chances in the second half came from his balls into the box. He looks, and again, it's always happens, right? In 2 weeks' time, we'll be talking about Finlay Pollock as the best midfielder at the club because he's been out for as long as what he has. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's what happens when players are out. You start talking about, oh, this guy should start or this guy should play. But Karjota is the one that jumps off the page all the time for me, is that every single time I've seen him, in the same way Altena as well, every single time I've seen him, I think you have to start. Like, there's enough about you to start. Like, what are they worried about? Because Chesney's hidden games and made bad passes and made bad touches and made bad decisions. What are we worried about with Karjota? Because we've seen enough from him. And I didn't know what about
his fitness levels.
Kev, it's fucking March.
I know that.
August.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Is it more physicality more than anything? Is that right?
Yeah, obviously it's to do with physicality, and that's just the way it is. But if you're fast and nimble, look at Messi. Yeah, Messi's about 5'6" or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is all reactionary. I get it. I understand it. The manager has done so much to deserve to be able to get one wrong, right? And he did. He got it wrong on Saturday, and I'm pretty sure he probably put his hand up and say that he got it wrong on Saturday. But it was just one of those ones where Karjota is the one that jumps off the page, like, where I don't see what Chesney does. Like, Kabore, Chesney, all these guys, Mato and all these guys, they're going to need a pre-season, right? Once they've had the pre-season and the start of next season is when we can start to judge if they're any good or not. But bringing on players in those games, we brought Chesney on and basically said, go win us the game, son. 45 minutes, go win us the game. And he did nothing. And he got booked for a daft tackle in the 90th minute, and then we couldn't get out the corner, and he was lucky that he didn't get booked again, because he had another one where he rammed into the back of somebody. It was just disappointing.
Mato's a strange one. Mato's a strange one that I know you paid money, and I know you had to pay money to make sure that we definitely got him, right? But he's another one that I think, you talked about Cabangu earlier on. We don't know what Mato can do. And I know this isn't the right time to go and bring that kind of player in, and we don't know what we can get out of him. But as another example, and I get you. I agree with you in the fact that it's going to take a pre-season to get the right levels of everything out of these boys. But I just find it a very strange one that you would even consider putting them on the bench, and not. I don't think he even went out to warm up, did he? I've not seen him.
He did a couple of times. Again, I like the Mato one. I kind of understand where we're at. You don't want to gamble in a game where you have to go win it, but it's more about, it's hard to explain. Like, they brought him on specifically. They spent all of half time drilling into him what he needed to do, and then he done absolutely none of it. And it's like, that's a huge worry for me, because Karjota came on, didn't have the same thing at half time, didn't have the same attention, didn't get the same instructions, but hunted the ball down, tried to get on it, tried to impact things. Altena did the same thing, wanted on the ball, took his man on, drifted inside wherever he had to, tried to be creative, tried to impact the game. Chesney did none of that. None of that. He hid out wide right, then he hid in the middle, run about a wee bit, didn't get on the ball at all, didn't try to beat a man, didn't try to cross the ball, didn't try to shoot, did any of that stuff. And I think that's what worries me. Now, he gets a bit of a free pass because of how poorly we managed the shape. Like I said, he played probably 5 minutes in the area of the park we asked them to play, then immediately brought Alterna on and moved them. And then we just were like all over the place trying to figure out where we wanted to be and trying to get back to a formation that suited us. So no one gets pass marks for Saturday. Nobody on the bench, the manager and the players, they just simply buckled under the pressure, I'm afraid.
Seemed to be, I only caught bits in and out because I was out and then I got the last half an hour, but seemed to be the only one that kind of looked like he had somewhat of a good game was Braga at points as well. But again, he got moved position and he was moved a bit. So
he should have come in the first half.
Well, that's where I was just about to go. They kind of get that from Braga, don't you? Like he'll run around all the time. That's what you get. So he never stopped trying, he never stopped showing, he never stopped trying to be effective, which was why we all love him. But the other flip of the coin for that is that sometimes he does lack quality. You know, he had this opportunity in the first half where he cut inside in the box and he's arsehole winded it out almost for a throw in. And there again, the cynic in me goes that we berate foreign laddies for coming to our league and diving, and then on Saturday he stays on his feet, and yet it's a clear penalty. It's a bit, I could see it at the game, it was a penalty. I wondered why did they not go down, because we didn't get any form of advantage from the period of play thereafter.
You shouldn't have to go down.
No,
but that's what I'm talking about. That's what you shouldn't have to go down.
That's where VAR, that should come into play. You know,
I don't know. There's a reason why it didn't. I think it's the same situation as the Rangers red card thing, because the referee never gave anything.
Yeah, it's
still
essentially
clear and obvious error that the referee missed it.
This because it's the subjective nature of it or something, and because they want to go with the on-field decision is what the thing is.
Yep, and that's why I was like, yeah, like they should have went down, but we berate those kind of foreign guys that come to the game and they're like, oh, they dive and all this sort of stuff, and he does the right thing and stays on his feet, and it kind of cost him there.
Look at what happened to Mika Lunas when he dived against Scotland, and then months it, and then obviously stays on his feet and you didn't get in return.
It was just a bit. I said, I don't know.
Clutching at straws, though, let's be honest.
We
didn't deserve anything. You know,
that changes it though. That was at 0-0, right?
Of course, no, it was 1-0 there.
It
was 1-0, but it was what 12 minutes before half time. I think maybe not as much as that, but he goes down. You get a bit of a run up to half time. You just never know, right? You know, and that's.
Well, then if we're playing man-to-head balls, etc., we defend better in the build-up to the first goal, defend better for the goal. If we stopped Kizaridis from hitting corners and put Leonard on corners quicker and actually found a man, I think the first 3 corners we had never met at the front post. We kept trying this front post corner for Braga to do a Cruyff flick type thing, to try and a rainbow flick or whatever it is we're calling it. And it was like, what you did? Just chuck it into the mixer. And then the one that Braga got on with the wee flick, he was past the 6-yard box anyway and just flicked it out for a goal kick. I was like, what you did? Where did you think that was going to go?
As a set piece coach, is he on holiday now? Just wondered.
Well, especially when you think about the variety of stuff. What we used to take, so the Rangers goal, Stuart Finlay, it's a short corner, backheeled back into Kizzy onto Stuart Finlay's head. We're not even doing anything like that anymore. We're literally just smashing it into we either smash it right to the back post and hope that somebody can head it back across goal, or we hit it literally just clean into the goalkeeper's hands. But again, that's just like I said, if man-to-head boys would be, we're on a different conversation. The facts are that we didn't deserve to win the game on Saturday.
Correct.
And
if man-to-head boys, I would want to be 8 points clear, but anyway. And
the disappointing thing too is that we get beat because we just didn't do the basics well enough, which is what this whole team has been. It's the bedrock of this team, is doing the basics right, and we just lacked it.
Yeah.
We just lacked it.
So,
I'll pull a couple of comments up while we're
good on you,
had a wee
pal.
lull here.
Good
But
on, Thomas.
Kevin Innes, I'm still confident. It's down to 2 before 3 points this Saturday, and we're in a great position with all the players coming back from injuries. Best time of my life. I was only 5 in 86. Wanjo, too much negativity. Let's not forget we're still top in the second half of March. No doubt atmosphere will be stinking on Saturday with everyone's ups, but let's change that around.
Yeah, got to change that narrative for Saturday. Saturday's a massive game now. It's huge. In fact, every game's massive, don't get me wrong, right? But Saturday becomes a massive game because of the performance, because of the result on Saturday past. So, got to change it.
And listen, this might come back to bite us on the arse, right? But the elephant in the room is that I'd feel more pressure if Celtic and Rangers were absolutely flying. Rangers were absolutely murder yesterday at St Mirren. Murder. They still have to come to Tynecastle. They still have to go to Celtic Park. They still have to play Motherwell, Falkirk and Hibs. I think they still have to go to Falkirk before the split as well. Celtic needed... It was a penalty for Celtic, but Motherwell are not getting that decision in the Celtic box. Absolutely no chance in it. How it's a red card, somebody will have to explain that to me, how that's a red card. But again, Oxlade-Chamberlain in the first half should be booked. A second booking should be sent off. Motherwell could do that. They're down to 10 men. So it's different.
Should have been 2.
Aye, it's not like you feel like we've got pressure building because they're absolutely flying and smashing teams. Like us, like I said, 2 weeks ago or 2 game days ago, Rangers that were under pressure, dropped points against Livingston. The next game day, both the Old Firm are under pressure and drop points because they're playing each other. This week, we dropped points, all self-inflicted, in a game that we should have been doing better in. We now have a home game that, let's be honest, if you can't go and win home games against Dundee, you shouldn't be in a title. So we've immediately have the opportunity to go correct ourselves. And then the next game is against the worst team in the league. So, we have to puff our chests out. We have to be like, we're either serious about this or this is the start of the decline. We have to go and show that we're serious, that we're serious about it. You have to go win those games. And then from the Motherwell game onwards, it's, listen, if we get to that Motherwell game and we're still top of the league, whatever happens from there in, we could finish third. We could finish behind Celtic and Rangers at that point. But taking it to the split, essentially, where you're playing against the 5 other best teams in the league, anything can happen. But if anybody thinks that Celtic and Rangers are going to go every single game from now to the end of the season and not drop points,
one of them's going to, aren't they?
But they have to. They will. Kev, this is going to happen week on week. This is going to happen week on week. So there we go. Anything else you want to talk about?
Let's just move on to Saturday, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what we've got to do. But positive.
What is the stories? Obviously, we're hearing that Shanklin and Devlin are close to playing, but are they in proper contention?
I think they're both expected to have a full week of training, proper training this week. And then obviously it'll be assessed to find out more as the week goes on, or the pressers at the end of the week.
So what changes are you making then based on that? What's your starting 11 for Saturday?
I suppose Magnussen's comes out, so straight swap would be Devlin if he does in contention, and then Shanklin for Kabore for me.
Where's Benny?
Was he even? No,
he had complained of an issue with regards to his knee on Friday, so that was him out for Saturday night's game. I've heard nothing in regards to any potential of him coming back in for Saturday. But like Tam said, Magnussen looks like he might be out, at least for this game. If it is a fractured cheekbone, I guess there's a potential that he could wear one of those face masks. If not, you're going to be looking at him being out this Saturday, no game the following week, and then it's Livy away the following week after that. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you've got that. So I mean, for me personally, and I don't like the idea of making loads and loads of changes in the starting 11. But I'd be looking at that right hand side. I'd be looking at dropping Steinwender for Altena, asking questions of them, especially at home. If Magnussen's out, then yeah, you should rightly say Devlin's the automatic one to come back in. He might only play 45, 55 minutes. But if he's got 45, 55 minutes in him, then that's what you give him. You see where you are. I know that McInnes has got a real habit of holding on into the late 70 minutes, early 80 minutes before he actually starts to make a change. But given the fact of players coming back from injury and everything else that's ongoing at the moment, he might have to reevaluate that element. And I know you mentioned it the other week there, Corbett, about how Jamestown gives you that sort of report on when to make substitutions, etc., etc. I don't know if that gets assessed on a week-by-week basis. I guess it does.
To argue against it would look pretty silly, because what Derek McInnes said in the thing was that actually all the data points to when you make substitutions, you make your team weaker. And our substitutions on Saturday absolutely made us weaker. We never ever once recovered from it. Right, so what's your starting 11 then, Kev? Let's go. Talk me through it. What shape are you playing?
I think you've got to go 4-4-2. Don't bother with any...
4-4-2.
I just had that exactly playing in my head.
It is, and it's a back four of Milne at left back, Altena at right, Halkett and McCart has to play, unfortunately, at that left-hand side, unless you do have Kingsley back. But again, I don't expect to see Kingsley this week. I think there's more chance of him being back for the Livy game. Then your midfield is Kizzy on, is the one that I would then go. Maybe do you look at dropping him for Kurjota? Or do you look at dropping him for, even for Chesney in there? Then your midfield, your midfield. It's Leonard. He starts every single game now. He's your automatic, first name on the team sheet. As I say, if Devlin's in there, and then you've got you say that if Shankland's only got 25 minutes in him, you give him 25 minutes, and you gave him and Braga up top. That's your 4-4-2 as far as I'm concerned.
What are you saying, Tam?
Similar to Kev, to be fair, I think we need to try Altena right back, Milne left back, two centre halves will be the usual. Leonard Devlin works for me. I don't think you drop Kizzy. I know he's not been in the best of form, but at home he's that type of player that when he's got the backup there, he can always create something. So, and what was so successful at the start of the season was Braga, Shankland, Kizzy. And then on the other flank, you're probably likely to see a Spittle again. But I wouldn't mind us seeing two wingers in Kurjota and Kazaridis on both sides.
Yeah, I think
sorry to cut you off. I don't think you would see Kurjota and Altena though on the same right hand side. I just don't think that would happen.
Yeah,
I think you'll probably see 4-2-3-1. I think is what I would like to see. Swallow right back, Altena. I agree. I think that we have to. You've got to play for the offensive side. We're at Tynecastle. We have to go and take the game to Dundee. I would expect him to play. McCart and Halkett are sound enough. And Milne left back, he's fit. Leonard Devlin is the two, and then you're looking at Shankland will play up front as the one, Braga, and then it's just who else plays there. I think Kizzy probably plays. I play Kizzy wide left. I play Braga behind Shankland, and then it's just who plays wide right. And to be honest with you, would be against Chesnikov playing in that position. But you might see Braga play there and Spittle play in the 10 type thing. I wouldn't be against that either at home, because Spittle at home has been pretty decent in terms of linking play and getting the ball forward, especially if you've got Leonard and Devlin in there ratting, getting the ball and getting it to him. The type of passes doing it wide like he did for Kabore, etc. And the balls over the top, or the type of things like, think you Shankland's goal against Rosenborg, Shankland versus Rangers, those balls over the top, splitting defenders and Shankland running onto him, are the chances that Shankland thrives off, and they haven't really created those opportunities for Shankland for a while. So yeah, I'd probably say that. So Spittle as a 10, Kizzy wide left, wide right, and Shankland through the middle would be my 4-2-3-1.
I'd take that, to be honest.
Would be where we're at. But like I said, Carjota, I wouldn't be against dropping in there. You might see Benny instead of Devlin if Benny's alright. If he's got a sore knee, there's no way they're going to risk him on a plastic. So it's probably one of those Benny 24-hour things where he misses the game but then's back fine for Saturday, which is what always happens. Right, go on in. Give your predictions for Saturday.
Me or Kev?
I'll just go for it. 2-1 Hearts.
Cool, to be honest, I think we'll get a reaction. I think it'll actually be 2-0.
Okay. I'll 1-0. Take a 1-0 all day long. I've said 1-1 for ages. It's not working, so I'm changing it. Also means I get to change out of the clothes I was wearing as well, because we were two jackets and a jumper anywhere. And for anybody that needs to know, the campaign needs to be get Bill, my dad, to away games, because my dad never came to Kelly and we lost. Never went to St Mirren, we lost. Went to Dundee United and we won. Was at Livy away, we won. Never went to Easter Road, we lost. Never went to Ibrox, we lost. So we need to get however many loyalty points you've got, just give them to my dad. He needs to go to the away games.
So I hope he's coming to Livy. And
I guess we've got a podcast name as well.
But get Willie out. Call my mad call to get Willie in. Any other comments before we go?
No, because we've ended perfectly.
David EW Jumbo has said, I think McEntee is certain to play somewhere. They'll have someone good in the air for keeper clearances.
You could look at him at right back, by the way.
Yeah, probably likely, to be honest.
Nah. I think we've seen enough. I think you've seen enough from Altena on Saturday that he'll get a game. I think McEntee went down pretty harsh as well. Pretty hard, towards the end of the game as well. He was holding his shoulder a wee bit.
Yeah. So
they'll maybe take the opportunity to give him the chance to drop out, because I guarantee they didn't expect him to have to play 60, 70 minutes on Saturday. That wouldn't have been in the plan. So I would say Altena will come in. Any other comments?
I just thought this was funny, but Wee Man Wanjo, as long as we didn't have Crash Landy, I can't say it. You could read it.
Crash Landy up front. I'm telling you now, clip it, take it to the bank. Remember when I said the seasons where I was like, if Alan Forrest got the same amount of game time as Barry Mackay, he'd be brilliant for Hearts. And that was exactly what it is. He gets a run in the game and scores. Kabore will be good for Hearts. He just needs a pre-season. He needs Shankland. He needs Shankland massively. He's just young and naive and too desperate to impress and be involved. He needs to know that sometimes the best amount of running is today, no running. Sometimes just standing in a position is the right thing to do. Sometimes running and not getting the ball is the right thing to do. He's just trying. He's trying too hard. He was, and I'm not taking away, he was absolutely murder on Saturday. He was murder on Saturday. But I've seen that. I still see enough in Kabore to think that there's a player in there eventually. The whole team needs Shankland. I know that's such an understatement, but we need Shankland. He gets us immediately 10 yards further up the park with his ability to hold on to the ball, his ability to link play, his ability to find a teammate to tell them where to go, and just marshalling them through the game as well. And the other thing too about Devlin is just that energy in the middle of the park. You know, that running around trying to win the ball back. If you think that you've got Devlin in the 8 being that annoying guy, Braga in the 10 being that annoying guy that never stops running. You occupy mind, and that's a big thing for us that we spoke about before, about the chaos ball stuff that works so well for us, is that when you have players that occupy the mind for different reasons, then, you know, when you have a team that's happy to let Kabori have the ball because he's not going to do anything, when you have a team that's happy for you to have it on the right-hand side of your park because you're not going to go anywhere, that's when it becomes an issue for us. They're happy to leave Halkett and McCart on the ball because they know there's nobody in the middle, there's no balls to feet, you know, there's no popping the ball into Kabori and then holding it up and playing off him, etc., etc. So that was like so obvious on Saturday that Neil McCann and Billy Dodds had done their homework on us and read us like an absolute book, and we couldn't sort it. So that was what was disappointing.
Shankland and Devlin on the team lineup on Saturday, whenever it's announced, gives Dundee
a boost.
a headache.
Or gives us a boost.
And us a boost instantly. Yeah.
Hopefully we get Gordon Chisholm back. Hopefully everybody shows up on the Wheatfield Street and we welcome the players. Hopefully Shankland starts. Hopefully Devlin starts. And like you said, I think it's went under the radar, just the impact that those players have, because we have done so well without them. But we been 7 weeks, 8 weeks without Shankland, 9 weeks without Devlin. Like it's a big gaping hole in the team. So the sooner they're back, the better. And like I said, the Kingsley one is the one that for me has had the biggest impact on us, given the versatility that it has of being able to play Milne in different places. So,
yep.
Cool. Right, troops. Thanks for your comments. Keep the faith. There are 8 games to go to bring home a title. We all have a part to play. Don't forget that. As frustrating as it can be, don't let them in your head. Don't let the fucking empty vessels in the media get in your head. Back the team, back the manager, back the players. They've done more than enough for them to have our love and adulation. We're 8 games away from immortality. Make sure that you know that when you go to the game on Saturday, and we get right behind the team for the start, because we will play as big a part in bringing home a title as the players do. So get your beauty sleep on Friday. I'll be up at 2 a.m, up lampposts, in my part. So make sure that you get your beauty sleep. Make sure you're there on Saturday, 1:45. Gerrard Yard. Welcome the players. We've been desperate for this type of thing for ages, to be able to welcome the players to Tynecastle. This is like proof of concept. If they can show the players, Braga was absolutely buzzing. His family and that were there. They went and played man of the match, scores the goal. It makes a huge difference. If we can put pressure on the club to do it official, you know, we can turn the plaza into the Gorgie way, whatever you want to call it, and have the team bus walk down and the players walk into the main stand and make the opposition players walk the gauntlet from McLeod Street path all the way down and into the main stand getting pelters. All this stuff matters. There are all the wee fine details that can help deliver a title. So brush off Saturday and look forward to this Saturday. All right, boys?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Hey, boys, I'll see you all later.
See
Catch
ya.
you later, lads.
Gorgie rules.
Oh, it's me.
Gorgie rules.